Joining us right now, E.W. Jackson joins us. He's running for Lieutenant Governor in Virginia. Bishop Jackson, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Always good to have you.
EW, Larry, Brian, great to be with you. Call me EW, it's fine.
All right, EW, let me ask you, as Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, should you win the election, you're going to have to look at a lot of the laws, and one of the laws that Virginia has is a stand your ground law. Now, we're hearing, because of the Zimmerman case, we're hearing a lot of noise coming from the federal government trying to intrude on states who have these stand your ground laws. And the president went so far on Friday as to make the statement about the Zimmerman acquittal and the stand your ground laws, and he equated himself with Trayvon Martin. He said, I could have been Trayvon Martin. Well, E.W. Jackson, for our listeners who don't know, E.W. Jackson is an African-American, and I ask you, E.W. Jackson, could you have been Trayvon Martin?
Well, look, I prefer to think of it this way. Any young American could have been in the same situation. Young people today have a lot of swagger. They're part of this whole pop culture mindset that's out there, and they don't like being challenged. Any young person. What I didn't like, the president racializing it, making it about a black man, making it about being African American, making it about a racial confrontation. I don't think it was racial at all. And I wish he had said, our young people are in trouble today. They're largely misguided. They're dying in the streets of our cities all across the country by violence. This is not the cause celeb. The cause celeb is to save the lives of these young people who are dying at the hands of people mostly, about 93% of the time, by the hands of people of their own race.
But, Mr. Jackson, you say that the president racialized it. Look, race wasn't introduced during the trial. Who else is responsible for racializing this thing?
Oh, I mean, look, the usual suspects. People who I think, frankly, make a living off of keeping racial animus and racial division going in our country. Look, it's a tragic situation. It's a horrible situation. I feel for those parents. But there's no indication whatsoever that any of this was the result of race or, by the way, did stand your ground have anything to do with it. But what we do have is young people dying by the thousands every year in this country, and we would rather obsess on this particular case, which is a tragic and horrible case, rather than deal with the real problem, the epidemic of violence that is taking the lives of young people.
So, E.W. Jackson, if you were to win the lieutenant governorship of Virginia, what would you do to try to stem that violence from that position? And also, what do you bring to the table uniquely as a state office holder and an African American? What can you positively do to change that culture that you're talking about?
Well, look, the first thing I'm doing, I do now, which is, which is I let people know that I prefer American of African descent. I think we got to stop balkanizing ourselves and racializing ourselves, and first of all, start thinking of ourselves as Americans, see these problems as American problems, not as black problems or white problems, but as American problems, and come together to work on them. I certainly intend to go into these communities where at-risk youth are. I've been doing it all my life in ministry, and talk to them about the need for being married before you bear children, stop treating your bodies as sexual objects, for men to stay in the home and raise the children that they father. Well, this is not a short-term wave your wand solution. We can't solve this overnight, but we've got to begin to rebuild the family, because in my view, that's where the problem really lies.
So how's the campaign going?
I think it's going absolutely great. I've got a great team of people with me. We have more than a campaign, in my view. I think we've got a movement. I see people of all races and backgrounds getting involved. I see the Republican Party's message, a message of individual liberty and personal responsibility, resonating with people. We're letting people know that we care about them. We care about the poor. We care about black folks. We care about Hispanic folks. We just have a different answer to the solutions that they face, and our answer is not dependence. Our answer is opportunity. Our answer is economic prosperity. It's jobs. And that message is resonating everywhere I go.
And, well, listen, you say you have a great team, but apparently you've got some people on the team who aren't really good at your filings. I mean, why do we keep seeing this in the news that you're late on your finance filings?
Oh, look, that was just we were in the midst of a transition. We've gone from one level for the convention campaign to another level for the general election campaign, and we've had to switch treasurers, and that was nothing but an administrative glitch. I'm sure that you found that, I think, within 24 hours. But by the way, our filing was proper and our filing was on time.
But you know, let me
finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. We needed to amend it in order to give the details that were required, and we had 15 days to do that, and I think we did that within 1 day.
But, you know, you see those headlines along with the headlines coming out of Richmond right now with the governor and the gift controversy. I mean, is this impacting your race, and is it not the story that you want out there right now?
Well, look, I pray for the governor and for his family. I think it's always tragic when people find themselves in this kind of morass. But I'm focused on trying to serve the people of Virginia. And by the way, that means all the people of Virginia. I don't believe there are any second-class citizens. I want to serve everybody, regardless of their background, regardless of who they are. I think every Virginian deserves opportunity and the ability to give to their family the dream of having a better life than they have.
What should happen to the governor in your mind?
Oh, I can't respond to that because I don't have any idea what the facts are. I think one of the things people do in politics is jump out there and start making judgments and declarations before we know what all the facts are.
Well, we know certain things.
Process.
We know certain things.
Well, but we don't know whether, you said what should happen to him. We don't know whether he has done anything that should cause something to happen to him. I can tell you this, that I intend to serve as lieutenant governor if the people give me the honor, the privilege of serving them as lieutenant governor. I intend to do so at the highest ethical and moral standards. And so, that's what I'm focused on, trying to make sure that I conduct myself in a way that always makes the citizens of Virginia proud of me.
Would you welcome Governor McDonnell on the campaign trail?
Well, I think, frankly, right now, Governor McDonnell has his hands full, and I think he probably ought to deal with those problems.
Probably a safe bet there. E.W. Jackson, always electrifying to have you. Thank you for coming on, and we look forward to having you again.
Thank you very much for having me.
E.W. Jackson, Republican candidate for Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.